Hey guys, welcome to an AR of third session, actually first session of third game of third season of our ranked games. And this one I'm playing Russia, and you can already see that there is quite a difference between this one and, for example, the Friday game, because this one is far more aggressive. And first of all, there is France annexing Sardinia, splitting it up with Austria, so it doesn't seem like we will have Italy anytime soon, and that's quite a big problem for other countries in Europe, for example Russia and NGF and maybe UK, because there is already a huge disbalance, France and Austria kind of being too powerful. On the other hand, NGF was actually allowed to form NGF, and they are very close to forming Germany. They only lack Alsace-Lorraine, and there seem to be some deals about that. France kind of willing to give it up for some exchange. If I heard well, there is a plan of NGF and Austria attacking Russia if NGF is given Alsace-Lorraine or something like that. So UK made it pretty clear and pretty obvious that their main enemy is Russia. That's actually me. So if I actually have to fight UK, France, NGF and Austria, potentially Germany instead of NGF, that's gonna be a huge issue for me. So we'll see. If that happens, I will have to come up with something really aggressive and annoying for them, and see if I can actually make them fight instead of fight me. On the other hand, UK opened up very aggressively, basically annexing Japan. Now, Japanese player actually made quite a serious mistake there. First of all, he had an option of just surrendering right away. The another option was to try to keep them off, just make defensive lines here, and he potentially could have done that, but it didn't really work out so well, even though UK had no artillery, no cavalry. Japan did have cavalry and infantry, but the UK actually had better military attack. Not too much. They only had 4 or 5 military attacks, and Japan had 1 or 2. So it's not a huge difference, but it does mean enough that Japan actually was in a disadvantage, even though they were defending in most of the battles they fought. So that's quite a huge blow for actually me and for Japan, because I was planning on allying Japan and trying to fight UK with them, and since that didn't really work out, as UK now dominates Japan, I have to find some other ways of at least pressuring UK and not allowing them any more space to expand. So this is what I come up with. I've annexed Khiva and what's it called? This is part of Afghanistan, I think, or Bukhara, and Kalat finally. And now I have a border with UK and India. So they're kind of weird right now, and that could work out for me. I already offered them a non-aggression pact for 1 or 2 sessions, because I don't think I can actually afford to fight UK right now, because they're still superior in tech, and I'll show you here. I spent all of my research points in culture techs, also now getting medicine quite late, but I didn't want to spend too much time on researching that. So ideally I would like to, I think I'm gonna go for army professionalism, just to keep safe from potential Austrian attack, and then get biologism, nationalism, imperialism, and empiricism. I think, actually empiricism in 1860s. Well, I guess biologism and nationalism and imperialism for now, and then I think I switch back to traditional academia, just to avoid those penalties on industrial tech research. And also naval tech research -15, that's a huge deal, and I might actually need a huge navy to to be in a better spot when fighting France, potentially Spain, and some other countries. Also, it doesn't hurt if you have a navy and you're fighting NGF, because they usually can't afford a huge navy. Now, as for research and literacy, I'm doing quite well, I believe. I have 15% literacy. A Russian only starts with 7% in the beginning, so that's quite a lot. And when compared to, for example, USA, I actually have more research points. Now, I do believe USA is doing terribly, and I will show them a bit later, just to explain more like the political situation in Europe. So, at first point, I wanted to attack Ottoman Empire and boost Serbia and Greece. Now, a Greek player had to leave after 1.5 hours or 2 hours maybe, so that wasn't an option anymore, and Serbia was actually played by a sub and not the original player. Now, Romania was actually allowed to be played, even though I didn't really want it, because there was no point in playing Romania. I told him I was gonna annex him, but he didn't want to listen. In any case, and Romania ended up annexed by me, and I basically gave this part of Romania to Serbia, so we can have some nice borders with Austria. And if Serbia does choose to ally me instead of Austria, like they did in the first session, then I would have a great opportunity of invading Austria from Serbian land. Here, and Austria really can't defend all those bordering provinces, so they will have a very hard time stopping me from invading them. As for Greece, there was a deal proposed to the Ottomans that they give Thessaly and West Macedonia to Greece in exchange for some Egyptian cores. Now, Egypt also wasn't supposed to be played, but then the player insisted on playing it. Now, the AI actually formed Arabia, and I think that's gonna be like that in the actual session. But it's very likely that Egypt will die next session. Mostly by me and Ottomans. If I actually make a deal with Ottomans, then that would probably have some division of Egypt in the treaty. Also, Ottomans were allowed to take some Persian stuff, which I think is okay, unless I'm gonna attack them, and we'll see what happens with Persia. We actually had a Persian player, but then I thought he rage quit, but actually ended up him having some PC issues, so I think we might have to consider giving back Tabriz and their regions back to Persia in exchange for some compensation to Ottomans, because they kind of broke the rule, but I wasn't aware of Persia coming back, so we'll see what we're gonna do about that. Now, Serbia got Bosnia by a treaty, I believe, from Austria, and that's kind of a decent deal for them. Netherlands annexed Belgium, and also Netherlands is allied to UK, and I think Netherlands annexed Punjab and gave it to UK or something like that. Not exactly sure what happened there. So UK is in a really strong position. At the moment there is French Algeria. No one actually bothered conquering Morocco. It's kind of strange. Tunis starts as Ottoman satellite, so no one actually attacked it. And meanwhile in the USA, actually in the Americas, we had USA and Mexico allying each other. And then Canada and Mexico having some stupid treaties with UK, which guaranteed UK grabbing more stuff for free, basically, because they paid the infinite price. And then Grand Colombia's form, which is quite decent job by Fussler. Brazil, as always, they're in a pretty decent position, I believe. Nothing major. They're still kind of low in population. I don't know what the immigration is because I can't see it now without unpausing the game. And it won't work as it works in multiplayer, so it's not the same. Now, there was a lot of movement with Canada, and the USA wanted to attack them, but then USA made a mistake by joining my war against Canada. Actually, I think it was Canada declaring war on me or something like that. In any case, USA didn't do a great job joining that war because now they have a truce with Canada and they can't attack Canada, even though they are mobilized and had everything prepared for a war. Honestly, I don't think USA would win that war, but still. So one reason I think USA is doing poorly is because of their attack. And if you remember well, I had 15 research points a day, and they have only 12, which is really serious blow for them. So they have none of the culture text. They went for, actually I'm not sure if they start with the romanticism. They might do. Still very poor choice. Navy, I don't know if they actually researched anything there, but they got all of the military text, and I don't think that's really great idea. Even if you have to fight UK, I think you just grab army professionalism and you continue going for culture text, because even if you lose 2 or 3 regions in the early game as USA, it doesn't really matter as long as you are ahead in tech and as long as you have high immigration. So it's really not worth it, I think. And if USA doesn't win a war sometime soon, then this will definitely not pay off. But that's really personal preference, so we'll see how that works out. As for the Europe, I think that we'll have some bloodbath in Europe sometime soon. Especially if I do manage to get a non-aggression pact with UK. In that case, I think I will be attacking Austria, because I know they're plotting against me. I've heard that from quite a few other players, and it's quite obvious because I made few offers to them, and also they lied to me about NGF and Germany forming. So I know from who to expect some threats and aggression. Now, Russia, at the moment, I think I'm in a very good spot because I managed to avoid any early wars that would actually be crushing to me. I'm only 4th grade power and dropping from 2nd spot, but it really doesn't matter because, as you can see, I'm in France, Russia, and UK all have industrial points. I don't have any because I'm not industrializing until I reach something around 20% literacy. So it's gonna keep me down for some time, but I think by 1855 I should be able to start industrializing, which will be great. And at that point that will be just a huge boom for Russia, and we'll see if I can actually manage to exploit that fact. Now, there is one good thing about this mod, is that more the Yakha region and the other 2 Siberian regions are actually merged into some super regions. I actually don't have that huge population compared to other states. You can see 600,000, and what are the other? Let me see. Katanga has only 260, which is not much, and the last one is, I believe, Oyatunu region, which only has 10,000, even though it has a lot of states. So yeah, this one has a lot of states, a lot of provinces, but very, very low population. So it's just really, it's easier to manage Russia, and occupying stuff in those states. For example, if Japan would ever attack Russia and start occupying these regions, it would hurt more because those regions are now huge, and one province occupied in them actually hurts your economy. So we figured it would be a nice balance for Russia, so we added that into mod. The other thing that hurts Russia a lot is that biologism is nerfed by a lot. Darwinism actually gives 50% education efficiency in vanilla. It gives only 15 here, so that's minus 35 education efficiency. Also, all the reforms in healthcare and school system that provided a population boost and education boost are removed, so literacy gain rate is really nerfed in this mod, and that makes it far harder to play it, especially if you if you're playing a nation that has low literacy in the beginning of the game and you can't really westernize early on. So for the next session, my plan is just to wait a bit more so I can get some military techs, and then I think I'll have to fight Austria and cripple them heavily. We'll see what the NGF will do. That is also one thing that I have to consider before making any aggressive moves, because that hugely affects my plans. And of course I'll try to industrialize and get some navy going finally, because I really want this Egypt and their provinces. Not so much for RGOs, but strategical position just would be great. So anyway, that's for the Saturday game, and it will be a very interesting one if you want to check out. I'll be streaming both Saturday, Sunday and Friday games. Actually, Sunday game will probably be very interesting. I'm playing Greece in that one, so be sure to check that one. So thanks for watching and have fun.